Hello there guys! So today I have a question to ask you regarding the global chat. Do you think that global chat should stay in the game? And what have your experiences with global chat been like so far? Obviously the chat is only available to players that are 16 years or above, or people that lied about their age, and when you first open up the global chat, it gives you these chat rules that say, please follow these rules while using the Dragon Mania Legends chat, be kind, report bad behaviour, don't use it if you're under 16, and don't give personal info to strangers. But the problem with this global chat that has been arising is, people have been fighting all the time, and some other really scary things have been happening, such as kids giving away their phone numbers, email addresses, and many other things to people in the global chat. So, children are unfortunately too stupid to use global chat features in games, and at the moment, it doesn't seem like the chat is moderated enough, because even when people are reporting what's being said in these really scary situations that have been happening, nothing's really getting done about it straight away. So by that time, it's already too late. And so, Gameloft have been bombarded with so many different threads on the forums. They've been messaging on Facebook, people have been saying it in my Discord and other social media, and this right here is a really, really good post written by Chris Crib. I'm sorry, I don't know their exact name, but you can read through this yourself and see just some of the problems that have been happening, and they offer a bunch of solutions to Gameloft. And with all of these threads happening, Gameloft have responded and said, they don't think it's really in a great state, and they are trying to consider what they can do about it. In a worst case scenario, closing down the chat may be one of the possible outcomes. And in my time with the global chat, even though people have, called me a fake, called me mean, tons of other stuff, and seen arguments and people catfishing and just idiocy in general in the global chat, I think it is fun, because there isn't really any other way to do it apart from if they're in your clan, and plus it's a good way to advertise for other people. But with all of these problems going on, I don't really know what they can do anymore apart from either remove it or have people on, literally on call, like an emergency helpline 24 hours a day, looking at these chats, which I don't think they have the manpower to do so. But specifically for anyone that is interested in what Gameloft had to say about the global chat as a whole, I will read this post from Razvan from a couple of days ago. So he said, "Hello, even with Andros out of the office, we continue to read all the threads," which is obviously a good thing to know. "Speaking badly about or at each other will not help move along the topic." Yeah, sure, that's just don't be mean to each other. "As Andros has already told you, we heard your message loud and clear and fully agree with the fact that this type of behavior is not acceptable inside our game." So, some of that really, really not good behavior that I don't want to get into specifics about. So this topic is our team's highest priority right now, and we are investigating possible solutions. Closing down the chat is one of the things we are investigating, but we are trying to avoid having to do this. At the same time, we are thoroughly rechecking all reports received for inappropriate behavior, and are preparing action against the people abusing our chat system. So, it doesn't sound all too positive as a whole. That's the main problem. How do you moderate children, people lying about their age, and, questionable individuals that are going out of their way to try and talk to children that they find in the chat? Because, I'll sit here for 10 minutes, and there will be someone that will say, "Hi guys, I'm 8. And I'm just like, no, why have you done that? Why would you tell people how old you are if you're not, at least 16? Is how I say. If you're less than 16 years of age, just don't tell anyone how old you are, because there are some massive creeps out there. I know, during my RuneScape days, I had to deal with a lot of them, and it was very, very scary stuff, to be honest with you. You can see right now, it's not that bad. It's not that bad right now. But this is only one of the chats. And some of the chats in particular, I found that on Android, I don't know what it is about Android. But every time I go on Android, someone's always trying to start a fight. Maybe I've just been unlucky with my Android stuff in general, but every single time I open up that chat, someone is having an argument with someone. Anyone that they can find. It's unreal. On PC, yes, it is a little bit more relaxed most of the time. But I don't know what you can do. It's so easy to lie about your age in this game. You just set up your account, say you're 20 plus, there you go. You have access to it. It's that simple. And obviously parents aren't gonna know about these tiny little details that are stopping them from, or allowing the kids to have access to this global chat feature. Because obviously they tried to implement it that you couldn't access the chat until you were a certain age, because they were trying to stop this situation from happening. So Gameloft really have put in a lot of effort to try and stop this from happening, but it is still occurring. And I have seen a lot of people saying that one of the ideas they like is just having a report function where if someone gets enough reports in a set amount of time, it will lock them out for a short period, or it will directly, like, let's say, flog up in, like, the please respond to this notification on Gameloft's side so that they know, hey, you should probably deal with this right now. But I don't know how their internal systems work exactly, and, you know, as a whole, I think it's sort of like the mentoring system itself, where you'd think that it would work one way, and if you had people that were actually just, you know, normal human beings, it should work fine and would be a really, really cool feature to have in the game. But, unfortunately, people will always abuse things that are in-game, especially, you know, really lonely people, those that, you know, mentally aren't really quite there to begin with. Those sorts of people, they look at these global chats and they genuinely see them as somewhere where they can find underage people or find, let's say, other mentally unstable people to sort of, you know, hang around with. And it is scary. It really is. Some of the screenshots that I've been seeing and some of the discussions in general that have been happening in there, it's just like, didn't your parents teach you anything about using online chats with random strangers? Do people not get that stranger danger talk anymore? Is that... Actually, I don't know if I properly had one. It was just sort of like, you heard it from so many people around you that it was common sense. Like, I mentioned RuneScape earlier, and it was games like that in particular that were really bad. Like, I remember one of the many RuneScape situations that I had. It turned out that this person I was talking to actually lived really close to me. I didn't tell them exactly where I lived, I just gave them, like, you know, the approximate state and, like, within 100 kilometers of where I was actually living. And they literally told me that they wanted to meet up in this place that was 20 minutes away from my house. And at that point, I knew that it was weird. Because they were saying, yeah, come and meet up with me and my friends. We've got a group of like 15 people all going. And this was a guy I was talking to. And I can't verify his age. But I was like, what, 11? No, I would have been like 12 at the time. But I knew that that was weird. And I said, sure dude, bye, I'm going. And then I blocked him and I never spoke to him again. Because he was really pestering me to meet up. Like, every single time we spoke, it was like, hey, we're gonna meet up? Oh, it'd be cool if we could meet up soon, ha ha ha. I was just like, okay, let's not do this. There were also a bunch of other people that were like, I'd play with them for like a few weeks straight, and then they'd find out that I was a girl. I'd tell them that I was 16 even though I wasn't, and they'd always ask for pics. Which is just, it was just a thing. It was just a thing with RuneScape guys, I think, but they'd always ask for pictures of myself, and I would never send them. I never added them on social media, I never added them on, like, anything. No Facebook, didn't send them email addresses, no phone numbers, but I'm a really precautionary person, and I always have been, even as a child. I know that a lot of kids are way too naive, and they just trust anything that someone's telling them. It's like, oh, I've spoken to this person for like 2 weeks now. That must mean that, you know, I can trust who they are. So I really do wonder what these kids are being taught, especially in these days and ages. I thought that schools were supposed to, you know, teach this stuff because of the internet and all the changes that have happened. But, you know, that's just one of my many, many encounters on RuneScape that, you know, it's like a dark side of life that I only remember when it comes to mind. But, geez, some of the online chats that I used to get involved with were crazy. I also had, like, 8 RuneScape husbands or something. It was either 4 or 8. And other crazy stuff, but, you know, just take it from me. I have a lot of experiences being a kid and, you know, being in these global chats, and I always used to lie about my age. It's super easy. But in a game like this that is marketed to children in particular, you will find a lot of them are children. Especially more than, you know, games like RuneScape, because they did appeal to kids, but not quite as much as, you know, a game like DML would. But, you know, I've rambled for far too long. But like I said, let me know what you think, and, you know, I just want to see what everyone's thoughts on the global chat are in general. You know, you've seen Gameloft's responses to it, and, you know, if you go on the forums, like, legit, you can just look on the forums and see how many different threads have been made over the last couple of weeks relating to the global chat. There are more of these threads relating to the global chat than there are other things. Thank God most of them got locked down because they were like exactly the same. But anyway, for now, thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think. And stop giving out your personal information, you doofuses.